To discuss this further, I'm being joined live by Captain Alok Bansal, who's joining me from New Delhi. Captain Bansal, thank you so much for joining us here. He's the Director of India Foundation, Executive Director of the South Asian Institute for Strategic Affairs. Captain Bansal, of course, what has happened in Pahalgam, we have been seeing the reports, this heinous attack. We're seeing ambulance after ambulance, as our correspondent just showed shortly before you joined, going past him, going towards the PCR in Srinagar. This is shortly ahead of the Home Minister's visit to the PCR in Srinagar to meet the families of those who have been killed before the bodies are sent back to their respective states. But as I speak about the states, within Jammu and Kashmir, sir, apart from what has happened in Pahalgam, there are also reports of an incursion which was foiled and a gunfight which is still going on as we speak in Uri. And there's also unconfirmed reports of a ceasefire violation by the Pakistan Army itself in Poonch. And apart from this, there is also an alert which has been issued in Mumbai. Give us a sense of what India is dealing with at this point. Is it more than just one attack that took place in Pahalgam less than 24 hours ago?
See, firstly, we should be very clear that this particular attack is a special attack. This is an attack on tourists which has not been done in the past because it affects the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So obviously the attackers had no interest of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir in mind. They were obviously acting at the behest of an external power, external agency which wanted them to attack at this point of time, which creates a news. The attack was carried out at a time when US Vice President was visiting India and Indian Prime Minister was on a very, very important visit to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So this very clearly shows that this particular attack was timed in a particular manner. The manner in which the tourists were targeted after identifying them, after identifying their faith, shows that the aim was to create a communal divide and accentuate it. They probably wanted a reaction from rest of India at a time when J.D. Vance is in India and Prime Minister Modi is in Saudi Arabia, to actually project India in a bad light. They wanted to show that India is not a stable country when trade talks had been initiated. So that's why we are seeing a persistent attack. And this must also be seen in the light of Pakistan's army chief's statement, where he has actually gone communal and talked about the divisive two-nation theory, saying that we are different from Hindus and we are this and that. So it immediately after that, a communal attack, an attack where people have been identified based on their faith and targeted, shows that there is an attempt by Pakistan's ISI to create trouble.
Captain Bansal, let me just come in here. Our correspondent had shortly confirmed to us just short while ago that apart from what we've seen in Pahalgam, now I just want to put it in a quick timeline. 2:30 p.m. This is the attack that takes place on the 22nd of April. Less than 24 hours later, and this is a short while ago from now, the incursion in Uri, the reports of those came out and the gunfight is still going on as we speak. And there are also unconfirmed reports in Poonch where the Pakistan Army is also, as per sources, they have violated the ceasefire. Now, these are three different fronts, Poonch, Uri and Pahalgam, which we're already talking about. There are security alerts in different other states in the country as well. At this point, by the time that this Uri incursion was foiled by the Indian security forces, by that time, it was clear that the Indian Prime Minister is coming back, the Home Minister is already in Kashmir, and world leaders from across the world, they are condemning this attack brutally. But even then, these attacks are taking place on different fronts in Kashmir. Is Kashmir under attack at this point? Is this a multi-front attack on Kashmir, on India?
It is a multi-front attack on India at a time when they wanted to actually carry out and show India in a bad light, when it was an important time from India's perspective. And that's why we need to understand that as far as Pakistan's foreign policy vis-a-vis India is concerned, it is not controlled or made in Islamabad, but it is made in GHQ in Rawalpindi. And that is very clearly manifested after what Asim Munir said at a seminar. And now we are seeing its reaction. So there is not even an iota of doubt, at least in my mind, that this particular attack has been sponsored by an external agency, namely the ISI or one of its cohorts, at the behest of Pakistan's security establishment.
Captain Bansal, and now at this point, the question that we have all been wondering, how will India respond and how should it respond as per you?
Well, I think it is too premature to say something, but we need to find out who are the people who were responsible, and we should react. As far as ceasefire violation in Punch is concerned, I think we are in a position to give them a befitting reply, not only in Punch, but all along the line of actual control. And if they are trying to do an incursion, we could actually strike the terrorist camps across the line of control, and that can easily be done. And I'm sure before doing all that, I think in front of the global community, we will be in a position to show the credible evidence of these people having come from across the line of control. And that's not very difficult, because whatever I heard yesterday, that those people were talking in a Punjabi, they were not talking in Kashmiri. Some of the people who saw them, etc., have already clearly revealed as to what they were doing. So I think that should not be a problem. And I think it would be premature to...
I appreciate what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But at this point, India needs to respond and give a befitting reply. That is something we unanimously agree upon. But at this point also, Captain Bansal, shortly before you joined us live, we were showing visuals of that region in Baisaran, that meadow. It's a gated area and it's covered with dense forests. Cars don't go there. People need to go there on foot. It is a tourist location. Anyone coming there opening fire knows who they are shooting on. They know they are not killing security forces. They know they are killing tourists who come from different parts of the country. At this point, they are trying, as per you, what do you feel? They are trying to instill fear in the entire country and also carrying out this attack when the Vice President of the US is in India, and also shortly before the Amarnath Yatra. What kind of fear are they trying to instill, and how far do you feel India is now going to respond to that?
See, as I said, their objectives were two, three. One was to instill fear, to show to the foreign dignitaries that situation is far from normal in Jammu and Kashmir, which has been for quite some time. In fact, people have been pursuing their agenda peacefully, and I think there have been elections, there is an elected government, everything was going on smoothly. So the first thing was to show to the visiting dignitary and to the foreign countries that things are not normal in Kashmir. The second, which is I think even more important from my point of view, I think their attempt to identify people and kill them was to elicit a response. They probably expected a communal violence in rest of India, and which would have been very suitable to justify the statement that was made by Asim Munir, which was, he was trying to talk about two-nation theory. He was talking of communal divide. He was expecting that there would be violence as a reaction in rest of India, which would show India in a bad light when dignitaries are visiting. And I think Indian population, Indian citizenry has shown its maturity by not reacting to that. The government of India, of course, will take actions. We will, I'm sure, government of India will not leave the terrorists wherever they are. They will be eliminated and their sponsors will be targeted. So that I have no doubts as far as this is concerned, and we will take appropriate action. But what is more important is that the citizens of India need to show maturity and remain calm and composed.
Army Chief of Pakistan Asim Munir had tried to draw this comparison, and it's a divide, a communal divide, which led to the creation of Pakistan. And you see an extension of that ideology behind these attacks, identifying people who are not Muslims and then killing him in Pahalgam, in that deadly attack which has taken place, the worst we've seen in recent times. But at this point, as Captain Bansal rightly said, we need to be mature, wait for the security forces to carry out the befitting reply that India will now give. Captain Alok Bansal, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. We'll have more to discuss. Would love to have you on the broadcast again.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, we will be tracking those developments coming in from Jammu and Kashmir closely for you. As of now, we'll slip into a short break. News and updates continue on the other side. This is WION. I'm Shivan.